Dear students, today we are going to study about human reproduction. It's the third chapter in class 12 biology textbook. So, you studied reproduction in lower classes. You know, reproduction is the production of young ones by an organism. Human beings are sexually reproducing organisms and humans are viviparous. The term viviparous means the animal which give birth to young ones. So, human beings are also viviparous organisms. Okay. Class 11 you studied about various physiological systems of the human body. So, this year you are studying about reproductive system. So, reproductive system consists of two parts, male reproductive system in males and female reproductive system in females. Okay. So, first male reproductive system. First the parts of male reproductive system. You know, male reproductive system consists of a pair of testes, accessory ducts, accessory glands and external genitalia. It is also called penis. Okay. So, now we will study all these parts in detail. So, first we will study about pair of testes. Okay. Testes plural, test is singular. So, function of testes, it is a sex organ, so which produce the male gamete. In addition to the production of male gamete, testes also secrete a hormone called testosterone. So, testosterone is considered as male sex hormone. We studied in class 11 in endocrine system, testes are the tissue which acts as endocrine tissue. Okay. So, it secretes a hormone called testosterone which is required for reproduction in males. Testes are formed within the abdomen. Soon after the birth or at the 8th month of pregnancy, they descend into the scrotal sac. That means, in human beings, male organisms, testes located outside the body of the organism. The reason is to maintain a temperature lower than the body temperature. Okay. How many degrees Celsius lower than the body temperature? About 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius less than the body temperature. And this temperature is required for spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis is the process of production of sperms. See the structure of a testis. Each testis in adults, each testis is oval in shape and its measurement length is 4 to 5 centimeter and width is 2 to 3 centimeter. Each testis has about 250 compartments called testicular lobules. And each testicular lobule contains 1 to 3 highly coiled tube-like structures called seminiferous tubules. And each seminiferous tubule, when we take the cross section, we can see a seminiferous tubule is lined by two types of cells. One spermatogonia and the other Sertoli cells. Okay. So, spermatogonia are the cells which produce sperms, whereas Sertoli cells which provide nutrients to the developing sperms. Clear? So, these are the two types of cells lining the seminiferous tubule. One spermatogonia, singular spermatogonium, it is also called male germ cells, and the other one Sertoli cells. Now, see the region outside the seminiferous tubules. Okay. The region outside the seminiferous tubule is called interstitial space. Interstitial space. And this interstitial space contains blood vessels. There are some cells present in the interstitial space. They are called interstitial cells, also called Leydig cells. Interstitial cells, also called Leydig cells, and some immunologically competent cells. So, mainly interstitial space contains cells known as interstitial cells or Leydig cells. Very important, the function of Leydig cells. Okay. Leydig cells secrete hormones called androgens. So, androgens are a group of hormones and the most important androgen is testosterone. That is why I told you before, testosterone is considered as male sex hormone. Clear? Now, just see the accessory ducts. Okay. That means ducts which carry the sperms from seminiferous tubules. Okay. These ducts include retia testis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens. Clear? The first one, retracted testis. Seminiferous tubules open into retracted testis. There are many seminiferous tubules in a lobule and all these seminiferous tubules open into retracted testis. Okay, retracted testis with irregular cavities. Then retracted testis open into vasa efferentia. Vasa efferentia are series of fine tubules. Okay. Then this vasa efferentia leave the testis and open into epididymis. Okay. Vasa efferentia leave the testis and open into epididymis. Epididymis stores sperms temporarily. Okay. Then epididymis open into vas deferens. You can see here epididymis leads to vas deferens. Okay. So, vas deferens ascends to the abdomen, loops over the urinary bladder, then it joins with vas deferens joins with a duct of seminal vesicle to form common ejaculatory duct. Clear? I repeat, seminiferous tubules open into retracted testis, retracted testis open into vasa efferentia, vasa efferentia leave the testis and open into epididymis. You can see epididymis located on the posterior side of the testis. Clear? And epididymis open into vas deferens. Clear? And vas deferens, you can see vas deferens ascends to the abdomen. It loops over the urinary bladder. Then it receives a duct from seminal vesicle. Seminal vesicle is a gland, okay, accessory gland to form a common ejaculatory duct. Now you can see here transport of sperms through accessory ducts. So these ducts include retracted testis, vasa efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens, then vas deferens joins with duct from seminal vesicle to form common ejaculatory duct. Common ejaculatory duct passes through the urethra, opens outside through an opening called a urethral meatus. Through the urethral meatus, sperms are released out of the body of the male. Okay. So, that is about the accessory ducts, okay, of the male reproductive system. Now, the third part, accessory glands. There are some glands associated with the male reproductive system are called accessory glands, okay, or associated glands. It includes a pair of seminal vesicles, a prostate gland, a pair of Cowper's or bulbourethral gland. Clear? So, there are three important glands associated with the male reproductive system. It includes a pair of seminal vesicles, a prostate gland and a pair of bulbourethral glands also called Cowper's glands. Their common secretion is called seminal plasma. The common secretion of all these three glands called seminal plasma, it is rich in fructose, calcium and certain enzymes. Clear? And you can see here seminal plasma, that is the common secretion of all these glands along with sperms is called semen. Okay. Seminal plasma along with sperms is called semen. Okay. Functions of seminal plasma. Seminal plasma helps in the transport of sperms, which supplies nutrients to the sperms, and also seminal plasma provides alkalinity to counteract acidity of uterus. In addition to that, secretions of Cowper's glands lubricate the penis. In addition to seminal plasma, secretions of epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle and prostate help for maturation and motility of sperms. Last one, the last part of the male reproductive system, that is external genitalia or penis. It is a copulatory organ. It is made up of a special type of erectile tissue, is erectile spongy tissue. There are two types of tissues are here in the penis. They are corpora cavernosa and corpus spongiosum. Okay, there are two types of spongy tissues in the penis. They are corpora cavernosa and corpus spongiosum, which help in the process of erection. Okay. So, when the spongy tissue is filled with blood, the penis erects. Okay. It facilitates insemination. The cone shaped tip of the penis, you can see here the cone shaped tip of the penis is called the glans penis, which is covered by a loose fold of skin called the prepuce or foreskin. Next, female reproductive system. Female reproductive system includes a pair of ovaries, accessory ducts, and external genitalia. Accessory ducts include oviducts, also called fallopian tube, uterus and vagina. External genitalia includes mons pubis, vestibule, hymen and clitoris. First, a pair of ovaries. Ovaries are the primary sex organs which produce the female gamete. In addition to this function, ovaries secrete some hormones also. Okay. So, the ovarian hormones are estrogen and progesterone. Each ovary is about 2 to 4 centimeter in length, and both ovaries are located on both sides of the lower abdomen. You can see here lower abdomen and connected to the pelvic wall and uterus by ligaments. Each ovary is covered by a thin epithelium which encloses ovarian stroma. Ovarian stroma consists of two parts. The outer part of the ovarian stroma is called cortex and inner portion is called medulla. Outer portion is called cortex, inner portion is called medulla. And the ovary contains many groups of cells called ovarian follicles or Graafian follicles. Okay. Now, about the accessory ducts or duct system. Accessory ducts include two oviducts, also called fallopian tubes, uterus or womb and vagina. Okay. First, oviducts. Each oviduct is about 10 to 12 centimeter long. It has three parts. They are infundibulum, ampulla, isthmus. Infundibulum with small finger-like projections called fimbriae. Okay, small finger-like projections of infundibulum are called fimbriae. Fimbriae help in the collection of ovum after ovulation. After infundibulum, there is a wider part called ampulla. A-M-P-U-L-L-A, ampulla. Ampulla leads to a narrow part called isthmus. Isthmus joins the uterus. Here there is a junction between ampulla and isthmus. That region is called the ampullary isthmic region where fertilization takes place, that you will study later. Okay. At this ampullary isthmic junction, fertilization takes place. Fallopian tube is lined by a kind of epithelium called ciliated epithelium. Okay, it consists of cilia. So, cilia help in the movement of ovum towards the uterus. Okay, because ovum is non-motile. So, ciliate epithelium help in the transport of ovum from the infundibulum to the uterus. Okay, it is a very important question, ciliated epithelium which line the oviduct. Next one, uterus. It is the second part of the accessory duct, uterus, also called womb. It is inverted pear shape. It is supported by ligaments attached to the pelvic wall. Uterus has mainly three parts. They are an upper fundus, then middle body, that is uterine cavity, and a terminal cervix. So, uterus consists of three portions, an upper uterine fundus, then a middle body, that is called uterine cavity, and which one? A cervix, terminal cervix. Cervix opens into vagina. Wall layers of uterus. Uterus consists of three wall layers. They are perimetrium, myometrium, endometrium. Perimetrium is the outermost membrane, thin membrane. Myometrium is a thick layer made up of smooth muscles. We will study about the function of myometrium later. And endometrium, which is glandular and vascular, that means it contains many glands and blood vessels. Okay. So, the three wall layers of uterus are outer perimetrium, middle myometrium and inner endometrium. Okay. Next portion of the accessory duct is vagina. It opens to exterior between urethra and anus. The lumen of vagina is lined by, you can see here, the lumen of vagina is lined by glycogen rich mucous membrane consisting of sensitive papillae and glands called Bartholin's glands. The secretions of Bartholin's glands help in the lubrication of penis during sexual act. Next, external genitalia, also called vulva or pudentum. It consists of mons pubis, vestibule, hymen, clitoris. The parts of external genitalia are mons pubis, vestibule, hymen and clitoris. First, mons pubis. Mons pubis is a cushion of fatty tissue covered by pubic hair. Next, vestibule. It is a median channel which includes two folds of tissue, outer fold of tissue and inner fold of tissue. Outer, a pair of labia majora. Labia majora are large, fleshy, fatty and hairy outer folds surrounds the vaginal opening. The inner fold of tissue called labia minora, small, thin and hairless inner folds. Okay. So, there are two tissues, outer tissue is called labia majora and inner tissue is called labia minora. Okay. Both are supporting the vagina. Next is hymen. It is also called maidenhead. It is a thin membrane which partially covers the vaginal opening. The vaginal opening is partially covered by a thin membrane called a hymen. It is often torn during the first coitus. However, hymen may also be broken by a sudden fall or jolt or insertion of a vaginal tampon or active participation in some sports items, etc. But in some women, hymen persists even after the first coitus. So, hymen cannot be considered as a reliable indicator of virginity. Next one is clitoris. Clitoris is a highly sensitive organ lying just in front of the urethral opening. Okay, the last portion of the external genitalia, that is clitoris, is a highly sensitive organ lying just in front of the urethral opening. Next, mammary glands. The pair of mammary glands can also be considered as a part of female reproductive system. Okay. Mammary glands also called breast. Each mammary gland contains glandular tissue and variable amount of fat. Glandular tissue of each breast has about 15 to 20 mammary lobes containing clusters of cells called mammary alveoli. I repeat, glandular tissue consists of about 15 to 20 lobes containing clusters of cells. You can see here clusters of cells called alveoli, called mammary alveoli. Clear? The cells of the alveoli secrete milk. It is stored in the cavities of the alveoli, cavities or lumen of the alveoli. So, alveoli secrete milk. The alveoli of each lobule open into mammary tubules. The alveoli of each lobule open into mammary tubules. The tubules of each lobe join to form a mammary duct. You can see here mammary alveoli open into mammary tubule and the tubules of each lobe open to form mammary duct. Several mammary ducts join to form a wider mammary ampulla. Several such mammary ducts join to form a wider mammary ampulla which is connected to the lactiferous duct. Through this lactiferous duct, milk is sucked out. Mammary alveoli secrete and store milk. Mammary alveoli open into mammary tubule. Mammary tubule open into mammary duct and mammary ducts open into mammary ampulla. Mammary ampulla is connected to lactiferous duct through which milk is sucked out. Today we have completed male and female reproductive systems. Next we have to study gametogenesis, that we will study in the next class. Thank you.